can also bind, but peace can free a restless mind. Fix the cracks, don't paint them bright. The world's not whole without the fight. So rise and speak, don't just comply. Change the script, don't live the lie. Counter this, counter that.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Counter This. Today, we'll be building on community again, and as you can see, we've got a guest on here, and as always, we have LBC returning as the co-host. So, how's everyone doing this weekend?
Doing great.
Go ahead, Bit.
Doing great. How are you?
Well, I'd complain if it got me anywhere, but it's been a nice, relaxing weekend so far. So, just in time for the weekend and starting it off with something exciting because I didn't get out of bed until like right before we were gonna start this.
Well, good for you, man.
Well, how are you doing this weekend, LBC?
I'm doing just well, just well. Haven't only have the newborn last night, so a little bit quiet around the house for once. It's kind of weird when they're all gone like that, but the wife and I kind of enjoyed a little bit of silence, even though the newborn. I mean, at least he sleeps most of the time. So, but yeah, it's just been a quiet weekend so far. Just been watching some football and just enjoying some time with my wife. And then now I'm here. So spend an hour with you, lovely gentlemen.
Well, I'm glad you were able to show up for today's episode because, this is the last episode that really gives us the base for all the other discussions to be built off of. And I talked a little bit about with Billy before the show about how important community is. And we've done a lot about how you build interpersonal relationships, not just with your family, but also with the people that you interact with on a daily basis. And then we talked a bit about how we take that into building a community. Now we get to the really important part about community, and that's how you use a community to make an impactful change in our daily lives around us. So I know we all have very strong ties and beliefs about community, and Billy has built an incredibly strong community over there on Billy Goat Tales on YouTube. That link is in the description. If you're not following them, you definitely should be. He starts every morning out right with a morning motivational video, and I'd kind of like to hear how Billy views taking a community and taking it a step further to make some change in the world. And then we'll kind of, get into the weeds on stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, BC, it's my view that it's all about community, because when you say community, if you think about being on the planet Earth alone by yourself, if you ever watched that TV show Alone, a lot of those people bail out because they just cannot stand being alone. You need people. People want to be loved, and they want to love. And when you find like-minded people and you build a community one by one with those common interests, that is something that is special. You can feel it, because that's in the nutshell. That's what we all want. We want to be heard. We want to be loved. We want to matter. We want to count. And when you start understanding from a psychological standpoint that that's what all humans want, then that's where the basis of giver's gain comes from. Because if I can help you help yourself, right? You're helping yourself. And if I can help you in any way, then I'm going to do it. That's going to show the proof that it's not about me. It's about you. It's about you guys. It's about whoever. When I started, the whole idea was in LBC knows, in Frankie Candle's community, it was all about helping Frank. Like, it wasn't about Crypto Billy. It never has. You go out in these other communities, hey, if I can meet somebody and I know somebody and you need to talk to them, I'm going to do it. No strings attached. Nobody's keeping score. It's just, we're going to do it. We're going to help each other, community. And then you can extrapolate that into your personal life. You can extrapolate it into your business world. In business, I think it's vital in business, because really, when you talk about whether it's on a team in a production side of the world, like out and building houses in the field, like Alex O, he'll talk about this a little bit, or if you're talking about it in a manufacturing setting or in a sales setting, sales arena, it's really about building relationships. So when you have relationships that are strong, then you're going to build a community around the things that you all are interested in. In this case, it's for us, it's crypto, right? So then from there, we're looking at what else do we have common interest in? For like LBC there, like I love comedy, I love humor, so like when I first met him, he had his impression, it just tickled me, and I was like, yeah, man, I like this guy. See why? Because there's just like this common element that we kind of enjoy, that type of humor, right? And when you find your people, man, to me, like-minded people, and got to be clear here, because people's like, hey, we're not the group that's just going to give the bum on the street our hard-earned money every day because he's got his hand out. No, that's not a giver's gain philosophy. A giver's gain philosophy is helping those working hard to help themselves, right? Working hard to help themselves. Those are the people that if you can help, then you should try to help touch their lives in a positive way. What's happening over on Billy Goat Tales is pretty beautiful. From a standpoint of, I'm watching Dave Digital on our team become his own. He's always been Dave. I love Dave, what he's doing, and to be a small part of it. When Alex O started, any way I could help him out, I was in a position where I had more connections and relationships, and I leveraged them for Alex O because I wanted to. I had no clue that I would be starting my own Billy Goat Tales. It just kind of evolved. But I love doing it. I love helping out. Same with Army Piper, you guys, all of us. I think we all have that. So community is huge, man. It is everything.
Oh, yeah. And you definitely hit on a topic that we brought up in our prior episode, where it's not like a handout to just give you something. It's a hand reached out so that you can grab it and pull yourself up with. And that's a very, very vital part of community.
Amen. Yep.
Agreed.
I know you haven't got to talk much, LBC. I'm sure you got plenty to say on that aspect.
I mean, I just agree with everything Billy just said. That's pretty much it. That's the show, guys. I mean, that's all you need right there. He said it all. He said it all in 5 minutes. That's all you need. That's the pitch. But no, I've definitely. Community has definitely. The thing about community is that it is about helping others, but at the same time, it's also helping yourself, and it's helping you grow as a person as well. And particularly like in my for me personally, that's what community has done for me. And now I did start off. I mean, I just wanted to help people, but I didn't realize until 2 or 3 years into this space, in the crypto space, how much I needed a community too. And that is when, I guess it was only like a year in, that is when I went to the Candle Mafia Discord, because I was just looking for a community, right, of traders, and then I ran into Crypto Billy and I ran into Alex O and, just so many amazing people. And, because of that, I was able to see that, it wasn't everybody out there isn't just a bunch of degens, right? It's like there's actually good people out here just trying to help others. And I just started surrounding myself with those people. And it's been amazing ever since I did that. And so I can see the effect that a community can have, the positive effect that a community can have on people's lives. And yeah, and I'm here for it. So but we want to pick Billy's brain because he's built such an amazing community. And but I think he's already, I mean, I don't know what else he has to say after what he said, it's just
Well, no, it's your guys' show and your guys' topic. I mean, this is the stuff that we built our cornerstones on, right? Our 10 cornerstones. One of the number one cornerstone of our 10 cornerstones is community. So for us at Billy Goat Tales, our 10 cornerstones are the fabric, the foundation of what we represent. That's our brand. That's who we are. That's what we're always trying to project out there to the world.
that was your 10, like your first 10 episodes, right?
Yeah, first 10 episodes, first 10 chapters of our book. We for those that don't know, we created a 30 X spaces and we recorded them. And the first 10 of those X spaces were our first 10 cornerstones. And then we had 20 other X spaces about a myriad of different topics, including crypto topics. But the first 10 were like our anchor. It was all part of our design. It was all part of our 5-year plan, what we have brewing, what we wanted to do, how we wanted to be different in the space and not just be about crypto. And even in our own community at Billy Goat Tales, there's so many of you guys that I've met and am friends with. I don't ever want to see myself, even though I trade every day, been trading for many years, probably before some of you guys were born, I was trading, right? But I don't want to get into a situation where now I have all these great friendships and I'm somehow competing with them. I don't want that, but it's hard to navigate because right now, look, we're all traders. We all, have this interest in crypto and we all have fun doing it. We all like to talk about find your people, right? So we understand the lingo, we understand when I turn on LBC and I'm watching his setups or if I'm turning on UBC, and you're talking in the morning, we all get it. We all understand it. But what I keep coming back to for us at Billy Goat Tales is we started with a mission that was not really crypto. We're in the crypto space, but we didn't really start with a mission that had really anything to do with crypto. It had to do with people. And you're talking about community, right? So anytime I can come on to talk about those 10 things, and that's one of them, community, man, I'm all for it. Because to me, it's like this, guys. There's a great awakening happening right now. It's huge. If you don't feel it, then something's not right with you, meaning you have to be able to feel what is happening right now. It's different. It's new. It's a first. It's change. There's something happening. You can call it the digital age. You could call it AI. You could call it 3i Atlas if you want to. You could call it anything you want to call it, but I feel it. Like my antenna has been up with this for a long time now. And it's getting stronger and stronger. And the calling is to connect people, to help people, to help them on their journey of life. Because I was telling BC before the show, if you're not interested in the big questions, why am I here? Where did I come from? Is there a God? Where did they go? Where did he go? Those are the things that I think everybody should ponder and everybody should at least be interested in. What is your purpose? Why were you born at the minute and the time that you were born at? And why are you alive during this segment of the world's history? There's a reason for that. And to me, it's very interesting to try to continue to find out what that reason is. And that to me is more important than 10-10, in which my trading bag, my hodl bags are down like 50% still. Right? That's painful. That's painful. But like if I'm going to spend some time on something, I'm going to spend time more on reflecting of those bigger questions in life than I am just the finance side of my life, right? So yeah.
So, if you don't mind, BC, Billy, what do you think about local community? Your in real life community. Do you have a an IRL community? Is it your church or your business partnerships or relationships? What might that look like to you, and how would you go about building on your in-person community, your local?
Yeah. So the answer is yes. So give you a little background from my belief on this. I told my son, who's 33 now, one of the things you want to do in life is shake as many hands as you possibly can and get to know people. And he's 33, and he'll tell you that I kept reinforcing that. And I also told him that, and don't forget, when you shake that person's hand, someday they might be your boss, or someday they might work for you. So the connection was the important part of that story. But at the same time, I've always been a part of our community. So I was the president of city council. I was the president of the Chamber of Commerce. I was on the board of directors for the North Coast Building Association, NCBIA. Wow. I was the Cub Scout leader, then the Boy Scout leader. I was the commander of our American Legion. I when you talk about community, I think some of you heard I lived in a small little town. We were getting hosed by the one gas station that we had. And I knew the guy. He owned like 7 or 8 stores. And I called him up and I said, listen, man, we shouldn't have to drive 25 miles to pay 10 cents less for gas. Just lower your gas price for us. And he was like, no, I don't have to. There's no competition. And I said, well, it's just the right thing to do. You have all the other stores. You can offset the costs with that. I know you're making good money. It's just like people aren't going there because your gas price is too high. And he said no. And I said, well, then I'm gonna build me a gas station. I'll compete with you and I'll lower the gas price. And he laughed at me and he said, do it. He said, do it, basically. And so I did. Built $1 million gas station, a C-store, because I was a local community guy. The school system, all the local businesses, everybody and their brother, every manufacturing, everybody that was anybody came to my gas station supporting my idea. The idea wasn't for me to make tons of money. That's what I always say. The biggest mistake I think everybody makes is they're seeking the dollar first. If you seek the idea that you're passionate about, that you believe in, you will get the money. The money is the product after the idea. So now if you seek an idea that you are half baked on and you're not sure about, no, that's different. I'm talking about something that moves your soul, that you say, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm all in. I'm putting everything on the line. I'm taking the risk. I'm doing it because I feel like I have to do it. The money will come. So I feel that community out in real life, I've always been very involved in all the elements in the home building side, which is what I do for a full-time career, in my community as a president of council, in my Legion post as a veteran. We're up through the ranks. I was historian, finance officer, first vice, finally commander. I believe that you have to give back to your community. And I think if you do that, many rewards come your way.
Well, that's a really great example of actually turning a core principle from your community and using it to actually make some kind of difference in the world around you. And that's kind of the whole purpose of community. Because, we all have a similar idea. There might be different small differences here or there, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to live together and succeed together. And if other people succeed, normally that means you're going to be succeeding as well if you're in that community. It's not a competition with those people. And if you use that idea to actually make a change in the world around you, you're going to have that strong support and everyone ends up winning together. That's just one small aspect of how you can do it. And there's plenty of other ways to do it too. And taking that small community from what you've built up with those interpersonal connections and then actually using it for something bigger than just you and your community is going to give you a lot more support and end up building that community in the long run. So I love to hear that story, Billy.
Yeah, man. There was a little coffee shop that was kind of like the hub of our community. And everybody went there, like the farmers would go there for their coffee, and the school kids at lunchtime would go there for their lunch. They had open lunch so they could leave the school and go there. And it was a newspaper place is where if you had it back in my day, if you had film to develop, you drop it off there and they would develop the film for you. If you had a Zippo lighter and it needed fixed, the guy would fix watches. If you had a watch and you needed batteries for it, or you needed even fixed, the guy, it was like just the old town hub. And after I graduated, went in the Army, the guy basically retired, and nobody really, or I guess a guy did try to take it on, but he failed, and it closed. And it was the hub, it was the world I grew up in. And once I was out of the Army and out of college, I was like, I got to bring that place back. Again, I wasn't sitting there figuring out the spreadsheet and seeing how much money that I could make doing this. It wasn't about that. Now I did have, having a finance degree and understanding a business plan and understand how to ask for a loan from the bank. Yeah, I got it. But it really wasn't about that. It was about this hub has to be opened again. This was the heartbeat of our community. This is where memories were made with human beings that we reminisced about. We share stories to this day from standing in that building. And so it was a movement, man. And I bought that building on the steps of a sheriff's sale. And they was going up for sheriff's sale. And I bought it and went to the bank and got a loan for the original startup cost, which would be a little remodeling and to stock the store with all of the food and all of the items, and magazines and newspapers and everything, and we got that thing humming. And once it was open and thriving again, I felt like, okay, that's check, right? And that's when the money comes, right? It's like, it wasn't ever about the money. I never even really thought about the money. It was about, this is what we got to do this for the community. And then you got a great business that's cash flowing really good. It's pretty appealing to somebody that wants to buy it, so I think if you put the idea first, the passion first, you'll find a way. The money will show up. And I think everybody flips that over today. I think it's worse today than it ever was. Like money, profit, me. It's like, I don't get that. I mean, I'm anti that, whatever that is. I'm anti that. And so I'm going to always preach the opposite. And don't get me wrong. Somebody can argue on the other side of my case and say, well, Billy, are you a billionaire? No. Well, Billy, are you worth $100 million? No. Okay. So Billy, then, you just have a different way to look at things than I do, because I want $100 million. Right. And I would say to them, you're right. you're right. It's like I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I'm just trying to say the fulfillment, the contentment, and the happiness doesn't come from dollars.
Mm. Well, I mean, there's different kinds of rich, you know.
Yeah.
You can be rich with dollars, or you can be rich in fulfillment. And a lot of the time, you provide that fulfillment rich to yourself and your community. A little bit of money will follow, but you could also depend on on that community when you don't have that dollar rich aspect. And you know, when things are rough, you know, you can lean on that community, and when things are rough for them, they can lean on you because you're actually providing some sort of value other than let me chase this end stage capitalist money grab. And the life is so much more than that.
Amen. Yeah, it really is. And
Yeah,
so there's a balance there for sure. Sorry,
yeah.
Elvis.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure because a little. Oh, now it's starting to pick up. Okay. Um, yeah. So I asked you about the community building thing because it's something my wife and I used to do. I don't know if I mentioned it, but during the episode last week or afterwards. But my wife and I used to we used to live in a cul-de-sac before we moved to our new house, and we would just get our neighbors and we would just let them know that, hey, we're doing like a little cookout grill in the front, out front, in our driveway. At this time, we're gonna put a movie on a projector that night, and if y'all want to come by. And it was very nice doing that because you got the neighbors out, you got to mingle with them, you got to talk to them, and everybody's kind of had each other's back. Anytime something was going on weird in the neighborhood, it was like, hey, do you see this? Do you know this person? Or like, is everything okay? Everything good? And I that was so awesome to me. Like I absolutely enjoyed that, and I think that's a little bit of what we're missing today is that in-person connection, especially with your neighbors. There's a lot of people they don't even want to talk to their neighbors at all, and they're very private. They're just in their house and they're just not doing anything, and with their community. And I don't know. I just don't see that being very fulfilling. Um, and then I think more people just need to get out because I think a lot of the animosity that we see online, m- a lot of it is happening online, but it also kind of goes down or kind of trickles over into real life to where people just don't even want to talk to their neighbor. They say they see a Joe Biden sign or a Trump sign in their yard, and they're just like, and if they're the opposite of either one of those, they're like, I don't even care what this person has to say. Not even getting to know them, not even getting to understand anything about the nuances of their views or anything like that. And because people are complex, and we're not all going to agree on everything all the time. That's just not how it works. And but I think there's a core. There's just something inside, almost pretty much. I say most people, and it's just they want the same basic things. They want their family happy and healthy, their friends happy and healthy. They want food and shelter and healthcare, and almost everything else stems from that. They have their faith if they're um, believers, and that's pretty much the core of it. And I think most of us have those fundamental feelings and ideas and concepts. And I think if we just focus on the core stuff and not study so much on the fringes or on the wedge issues, I think we would see a lot more progress. And I think it'd make it a lot easier to build on upon communities. Um, but just reaching out to your neighbor just because they're a human being, and uh, you know, uh, there's a lot of people, especially in the crypto space, that I just absolutely don't agree with, like, politically, and I'm just like, but a lot of them I know are good people, and that's why I'm just friends with them, and because I've always been that way, whether it was in school or now, like in high school, I was, I consider myself a frocket because I was a freak, a jock, and a prep because I hung out with everybody. Like it didn't matter who it was. I dressed in black shirts. I had kind of long emo scene hair, and I was on the football team at the same time. Like it was just like it is what it is. I just, if you're good people, you're my people. That's pretty much it. Like, and so yeah, just that's just the community building, and I think so. My point is, Billy, since you're in building, I need you to focus on. I need you to start changing all of your plans if you can. Maybe work with the cities and just build nothing but cul-de-sacs. Just cul-de-sacs everywhere. That way, everybody is kind of forced to look at each other. So,
There you go.
become more community oriented. But yeah, I think actually that's actually I'm partly joking there, but at the same time, I do think that I do think it could help a little bit. But the main thing is just having, even if it's just you, the person watching this, if you're the only one in your community to start something up, you would be surprised how many people would actually join and what kind of impact that could have. Um, like I was telling you guys, we had the cookouts, we had spent time with our neighbors, and it was amazing, and everybody had each other's backs. So it only took us, this one couple, it only took us doing that to where other people started to you know just started to come around, and and watch out for you just like you watch out for them. And yeah, just this little bit, that's all it takes.
Some of the most profound memories of my life were after our American Legion meetings. So I was with all the World War II vets back in my day. I was young. I just got out of the Army. They were all the old guys, right? They're the guys that kept that Legion going. And the stories, the camaraderie, like to breathe the same air as those guys and look them eye to eye and have them tell me what they did over there. Some of them were fighter pilots. Some of them were in the Navy on ships. I got stories from them right from their own eyes and hands and right from their own lips to my ears of what they had to go through and do. You're not going to see that on TV. It was like time well spent. And, I wasn't talking. Those days were all listening, and it was amazing. Now I was asking questions because I was just amazed that I'd literally in the moment look around and think, man, what a way to spend my time, man. These guys are going to be gone someday. And I buried all of them. I buried every one of them. And I knew in those days that this is just profound and just is so meaningful because they were teaching me so much. And I don't know. I like my gut tells me that doesn't seem to be important to people as much as it used to be. And I feel like this is a lost art now. And it's because of things like we were talking about, BC, like our attention spans, 8 seconds. I got to move on. Oh, it's not interesting enough. Oh, there's no way for me to make money. Oh, I don't have an edge. You're not giving me an edge. I don't need to listen to that. None of that, those conversations with those World War II vets was about me making more money, getting some edge, some secret information that's going to make me, make more money so it was about human connection. It was about feeling their experience firsthand and understanding the sacrifice and appreciating it. that moved your soul. And I just, I don't know. And my gut tells me that I don't know if people are being conditioned to understand those moments as well as they used to be. I could be wrong, but just my gut is telling me that.
Well, yeah, the internet has definitely played a big part of that, and it's like we're given two hands, we're given two ears, we're given two eyes, and we should be using those more than we're opening our mouth. You have to see what's going on. You have to hear what's going on. You have to actually do things with your hands before you can actually provide some kind of value. You have to absorb before you can give. And that's an aspect that's very taken away with the internet. Instead, it's like, well, I can use these hands and I could very, very quickly just put out all sorts of mumbo jumbo with some quick texting online, comment on this, comment on that. But did you actually take the time to hear what they were saying? Because there's a big difference. You can listen or you can hear what they're saying. And that value has been greatly diminished. And that's another big aspect of community. If you want to make change, you actually have to listen and hear listen to people and then hear what they're saying, understand what they're saying, see what they're going through, build something with them, and then use your mouth with your community to make that change. It's a big part of what LBC was talking about. How it's like, oh, people are so conditioned to, online, that there's animosity there and it bleeds over into our daily lives. And that's a big part of what we talked earlier before the show started. It's like what you feed into your mind is what you're going to put out of your mind as well. If you're always adversarial online and that's all you see online, that's probably how you're going to be in your daily life too. And like, not many people are actually like that in daily lives. We know the stats on people that'll actually fight. They're very, very low. Most people just want to get along. We're all trying to live. We're all trying to eat. We're all trying to, be content with that as well. But the best way to do that is not alone. The best way to do that is all together.
Yeah, conflict is good, but it's got to be healthy conflict. You've got to ask questions. You've got to understand people. Ask, like I just said, you got to ask questions. You got to see where they're coming from. What did you really mean by that? Because a lot of times even like tone gets, misunderstood. Somebody might just say something like, I need you to grab this for me or something. And you're like, well, or I'm trying to think of something else. It sounds like more of a direction, like I'm ordering you to do this. Like you could take it that way, or you could just be like, oh, why would they say it like this? Maybe it's important. Maybe I just need to get it and get it done. That's like a thing that, I dealt with at work recently. And so it was just kind of like, go to this job. I need you to get this done. And it's just like, I like asking questions and getting some clarity on things. And it's just like, no, I just need you to get it done. It's like, all right, fine. That's what we're doing. We're going to go get it done. But, a lot of people, that they take that in, they're just like, man, they're being really bossy and directing me around and all this stuff. It's like, well, I mean, if it's urgent, it's just like, look, we just got to get it done. I don't know what you want me to tell you. There's no more information. Just let's get it done. I know it's a little aside, but where was I? Billy, you go ahead, because I lost my train of thought on that. I was just kind of going on a tangent.
No, it's you said conflict is good, but there's got to be respect, right? And I would even further say, look, words matter.
Mhm.
And if you are going to say negative things, then that's more about your character, like whatever's inside you pressing you to the precipice to have to say something. That's more about something negative. That's more about you being more broken than you realize. That's my worthless opinion about that. Meaning, like if I disagree with somebody, then what I'm going to talk about are the areas that I agree with them on. I don't have to. There's nothing in me that says I got to argue why I disagree with them. Like, to me, that's pretty trivial. And that's just me. I'm not saying there's like everyone else can have a different view on that. But I'm to a point where it's like this, man. Life is short. You got 9 out of 10 things that I love about you. And I think you got the one thing that we're going to disagree on. I'm not going to get online or anywhere else and say, oh, yeah, just focus on that and throw out negative words because they vibrate out into the ethos, and negativity in general is bad, so stay positive things, and we have more in common than we do than we don't, right? So it's like, I don't know why people have to, and I guess, speaking about Trump, I mean, president, I know we're not politics into that, but look, I think that's why a lot of people don't like Trump, because he the negativity that he speaks sometimes hurts him, even though his mission, his motive, his mission, how he's going to do it is going to be good for our country. The fact that he calls people names and calls them idiots and stuff. Now, the hillbilly in me says, that's funny as heck, man. Did you hear what he just said? Of course it is. But the person that says, hey, could you have handled that a little differently in me, that says, come on, man. And so I get both sides of that. And what I would say to that is, look, you don't always have to talk about what you disagree on. Talk about what you agree on and put out positive vibes, man. That's kind of how I look at that stuff.
I mean, I tend to agree, unless you're a scammer, then I just kind of want to.
Well, you're not putting out positive vibes if you're a scammer. You might try to, but like we'll uncover that. We'll figure that out,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's kind of it's like how do you address someone that's like that you just know they're scamming people or something of that effect,
you cut them out. They're cut out.
You just don't even.
They're cut out, man. As soon as I figure out that you're that person, you're gone in my life. I have no room for it. None. We say surround yourself with the 5 people in your life. That's who you're going to want to, the ones that support you, the ones that you want to grow from and learn from. That really does matter. And if you have a whole bunch of people that are not positive thinkers, and they're not supporting your mission and not supporting you, I cut them out. They're gone. They're gone. It sounds cold, but look, those scamming people, they'll get theirs. Their life will unfold the way it's supposed to. Just like we say, Bitcoin finds you when it's supposed to, or you find Bitcoin when you're supposed to. It's kind of like that.
Buy at the price you deserve.
You buy at the price you do, right? So it's kind of like that. They'll get the price they deserve, right? And so, but they've been here. I've made some mistakes in this crypto arena. I've made some mistakes, and I learned from them. And I cut them out. And if you don't learn from those takeaways, man, you got to learn from them. And sometimes you got to put some fences up be a little more guarded, because people, the more, like in my real job, I have a very high level position at our company. Trust me, I understand how to command men, and I understand how to lead with integrity and humbleness, but also with, hey, you better get this done or we're going to have a problem, right? Kind of thing. But my point is, with everybody comes at that a little bit differently. And I always try to be a little more humble, a little more kind in the beginning. And eventually you will find those scammers that are out there. You might, in other words, I guess what I'm trying to say is, my way takes a little bit longer, but in the end, it's going to give you the results that you're looking for. And I'm good with that. Right? In other words, if you give a little too much trust up front in the beginning, it takes a little bit longer. But you can live with yourself and you can learn from it for the next time. And so that's kind of how I approach everything like that in life.
Just give them just enough rope for them to hang themselves with, you know?
And they will.
Yeah. That's the phrase. That's
They
the one.
will.
I like your little expansion on the whole eyes and or your mouth and ears thing earlier, BC. I like that because I only heard God gave you like 2 ears and 1 mouth. Because you should listen twice as much as you talk,
Hmm.
and then but you added eyes and hands in that, and I kind of love that. So that was an aside that I put it to the side. I was going to save it for later, and I didn't think it was going to be this late, but here it is. I did the weave, as Trump says.
Well, it is a little bit built on top of the biblical aspect of you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, but like there's a whole lot more to just listening because you have to see and you have to actually interact with what's going on, and that's why you have 2 ears and 2 eyes and 2 hands. And it's like you need to use all of those before you're going to use the one thing that you got, you know? And it's like you have to feed the one brain with all of the inputs, and you have to actually get in there physically with your hands. You know, you got 2 feet to take you places, and you have to use all of those tools first before you can do anything else with your mouth and actually use that voice.
Could you imagine if we all had 2 mouths? That'd be weird.
I mean, I can think of a few instances where it'd be kind of fun, but
at least I could eat and talk at the same time.
Oh yeah, well,
Little mouth back here.
You'd have to have someone else feed you though.
No, I could eat here and then just you talk to the back of my head.
There you go. Well, you brought up the whole scammer aspect, and since it got brought up, and Billy had a great conversation on it. And it's kind of something that we brought up in our own personal chats earlier today. I'm like, snake oil salesmen have a very finite amount of money that they can make as long as you have that strong community. If you have a strong community where you're communicating with these other people, you have close interpersonal relationships, then you don't get people in positions of power that are kind of scummy, and it'll sell you out for a quick buck because you have that strong community and you're actually communicating. But that's where they highly benefit from us being very at each other's throats online, and they not communicating with one another, and our communities being extremely fractured, where we need that to actually be able to call them out and to be able to call out bad actors. A big part, you brought up Trump. Trump doesn't have a very good community. He doesn't, like in some aspects, he surrounds himself with good people, but a lot of those people that he has surrounded himself around has just been about making money. And that's what Trump has been about most of his life. And that's one of my bigger problems with him. And it's like you saw his delving into the crypto space. That's not about making crypto better. A lot of that has just been about him making some money. And like that's opened up nothing but complaints. And so if you had a better community out there, if he had you on his team, Billy, then he might be taking his approach on crypto just a little bit differently. It would actually be about giver's gain.
I don't know if he has his way and it's worked for him. And as he measures success, and he measures it in dollars alone, and as he measures success, the other stuff, the softer stuff, the stuff that I think of is the essence of life, the stuff that makes you truly content and happy and joyful, I don't think he measures success that way. He measures it in dollars. So I think Trump's past the point of learning from anyone. He knows and it's worked for him. And don't get me wrong, I'm not an anti-Trumper. I'm not I think from a business standpoint, most of his decisions have been good for us, for the country. And I'm not a hater whatsoever of Trump, like a lot of people are. But even if I did hate a president, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't, I wouldn't, like, again, I'd put out, look, leave the guy alone. I laughed at things, but funny's funny, right? LVC, funny's funny. You see a good meme, I'm
Funny
gonna
is funny.
laugh at it. Even the good ones I see with Trump,
Yeah.
I laugh at them because good humor is good humor, right?
Mhm.
But I'm not sitting there creating those things and trying to create some sort of controversy or about it. I think that's just a waste of time. But
Well,
hey,
when it's there, it's there. It's
it's
just
there.
like,
It's there.
I mean, it's already on the internet. I
Yeah.
can't do anything about it. So might as well have a good chuckle.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely. Humor is one thing, man, that I wish everybody. I wish it was universal, but unfortunately, it's not. A lot of humor is subjective. But I don't know. I'm not big on any kind of I want to say culture war. I'd rather build a culture than to tear someone else's down, if that makes sense. And that's kind of that's the way I kind of look at it. It's like, you're doing the wrong thing. Well, you do something. It's like, you do something. You have people gravitate towards you and your people. And, I don't know. I just, I wish things were not as crazy as they are these days, but I do think a lot of that has to do with these things and just being online in general. And I don't know, man, but maybe, I don't know, maybe this whole 6-7 thing will bring this new generation together. They seem to love it. Okay, I don't know what it is. I mean, I know it comes from like a Skrilla song or something. That's all I know. But I saw this video last night of these kids. I think it was a women's basketball game. There was just a bunch of kids there, and they were sitting there. This lady goes up to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws. They're at 65 points. She hits the first one, 66. The kids are going nuts. They're getting ready. They're like, oh, I hope she hits the second one. Otherwise, these kids are going to be disappointed. She hits the second one, and they're just like, oh, 6-7. I'm just like, what is going on? But it's just all these kids, man. And it's just a heartwarming thing to see. I'm just like, man, I really hope that we fix this, what we've got going on right now, before they grow up. And and that's what we are trying to do here, right? We are trying to fix that stuff. And you guys are awesome, and I thank you for everything that you've done in the space. Billy, everything you've done for your local community, that's amazing. But also ours, everything you do is to serve, it seems like, and to serve others. And that's amazing. And you have been an influence on me personally, for sure. I've definitely, I could definitely say that you've made an impact on me looking at things differently, from like a service standpoint. And you've also helped, this is a little bit personal, but you've also helped me kind of find my way back towards my faith. And you've been one piece of that puzzle, because you put it out there, but you don't make people uncomfortable with it. And aside from my wife being a Southern Baptist, that you also played a role in that as well, just because of how open you were with it, but I don't know, for a long time, it was difficult for me to be open with it, probably because there's just so much stuff online. I just didn't want to deal with it. But that's why I'm not preaching. I just, my whole thing is just to try to help others. And if that gets them closer to God, amazing. And yeah. And
Well,
I
I appreciate that, LBC. It means a lot. I always say I just want to be a small sliver of positivity in someone else's life. And in the end, if you can impact being just a sliver, a billion people, you've made a difference, right? I mean, just being a sliver, just like you gave them some inspiration, you gave them some hope, or that's to me living. That's what it's all about. But to your point, look, like if somebody approaches me and tries to like talk Christianity or talk religion, I was the absolute guy who said, get the heck out of here. Go. I want to hear it. I'm that guy. I am that guy. So it isn't like what I try to do is just to spark an interest. And then your job should be your job. Everybody's job should be curious enough to say, I wonder if there's any truth in that. I wonder if I can seek my own. And that's all I try to do is get a little curiosity going, go find your answers, because that's the way I had to do it. There wasn't anyone going to tell me this is how you're going to think. It just wasn't going to happen.
My parents weren't like that either.
Right. So go find it on your own. And if I can be a little spark to make you do that, then I feel like I've done my job. But what makes me really happy is when you do put in the work and you find your truth, and it just so happens that your truth is my truth, and that does feed your ego, that does feed the human side of this, like, yeah, man, you're making a difference, So yeah, so thank you for that.
Thank you. BC.
Well, thank you for joining us here today, Billy. It's been a great talk on building community and using it to actually make some kind of difference in the world, because, this world is a whole lot bigger than just ourselves, and we're all living in it together. And I would like to see as many people succeed and do well in the world as I can. Because ultimately, that means that I'm probably going to be doing well in that world as well. And if everyone's at each other's throats and they're angry and they're not doing well, then that's probably going to be exactly how I'm doing as well. I'm not trying to struggle with everyone. I'm trying to win with everyone. And, this is just one small part of trying to see some sort of a move back to that. And I love your more God-based approach to it, because, we do need some firm grounding in something that is unattainable to ourselves. So with it bigger than ourselves, bigger than the collective, because if it's not that, then what is it? It's very in the wind and can just change like that. So I appreciate you coming on in today.
I don't know why JR thinks I was thinking about Star Wars. I don't. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't ever think about Star Wars ever. But anyways.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite, BC, LBC. You guys are great. I always will come on your guys' show anytime you ask. So I appreciate the invite, and I'm here for you, man. Anytime.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
We'll definitely be sending you some invites on some more of some deeper conversations as we go.
Sounds
further.
good.
You got anything you want to leave the people with, LBC, before we get out of here?
Yes. When it comes to community, just remember, do or do not. There is no try.
Love it. How about you?
You reach out to your people, and all that. I'll let Billy finish it up. Thank you, Billy. Thank you for joining us. I do appreciate you, bro. And I look forward to future conversations and future BGTs. Hopefully, I can actually catch some BGTs. It's really difficult for me with the kids, and then I got to do a stream. But I'm gonna try.
I understand, man. I understand.
And
I feel guilty all the time myself for not making everybody's streams. I just want to support, but sometimes you just don't have the time. When I get off here, I'm actually going to go set up and do the research for our show tomorrow. Hopefully, Dave sent me the thumbnail, because that's what he does for us, and I can load that up and but that's what I'll be doing. But no, I just want to say thanks. I couldn't see on this particular layout. I don't know who was in the chat, but hey, hello to everybody and thanks for listening. And always come back. You guys are what, every single Saturday? Is it 1 or 2?
2 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
It's what we've been shooting for. I think we had one that was on a Sunday, but it's just going to be weekends and around the same time. So it's just what works for both of our schedules currently. And but yeah, thank you everybody in the chat. We do appreciate you all for joining us. I know in an episode about community, maybe we should talk to you guys more, but I don't know. I think it's okay.
I stayed in the chats for him, you know.
I know. I got on to you too.
I was like, I'm very ADHD. I can listen and type at the same time, and I don't know.
Nobody can listen and type at the same time. It's literally physically impossible to multitask.
Sure?
Did you know that?
Sure? I mean,
did you know that?
It kind of, yeah. Well, it
technically speaking,
yes.
So what he's saying, BC, is you listened, but you wasn't hearing.
Yeah. Well, you know, the people deserve a little attention too. They're the whole reason we are here.
That's right.
So,
all right. Last thing I'm going to say is, guys, make sure you are subscribed to Billy Goat Tales, both on X and on YouTube. That is Tales with Tales, like a story tale. So make sure you guys check them out. And Billy, I don't know if you want to put your tag on there, your personal tag for X or anything. Go ahead.
No, just Billy Goat Tales. That's great. That's what we're here for. We're representing Billy Goat Tales. So, and our Givers Gain pathway. So hashtag Givers Gain.
Hashtag Givers Gain. Love it. Thank you guys, BC.
Yep, those links are in the description. I tagged his X, not the Billy Goat Tales team one, but his personal X. So you should be able to find it from that. I also tagged the Billy Goat Tales team YouTube in that description. So get over there. If you're not following, you definitely need to be. But we've got a spicy episode for next week. Crux of Crypto will be there. We will talk. We'll be taking this a step further, looking at how we actually make a little bit of some changes in the world. And that first one is going to be about finance in our government, you know. So that one's going to be a little bit spicy, and it won't be it might be a little bit more debatey on some of those topics. So I hope to see y'all at next week's episode. Thank you for everyone tuning in, and have an amazing weekend. I will see you next time.
Mad love.
Counter this, counter that. Freedom's more than tit for tat. Words can build or words can break. Speak the truth for all our sake. A hand that feeds can also bind, but peace can free a restless mind. Fix the